Hello there, you are now with me, Henny Gui, for your 5 p.m. English news on TVS. Let's move on to the news. Well, good news as Sarawak recorded the highest in number of individuals at 4,848 who have completed full vaccination regimen under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program.
Sarawak is followed by Pahang with 2,549, Perak 713, Sabah 591, Kuala Lumpur 565, Selangor 369 and Penang with 328. Meanwhile, a total of 413,255 individuals have received their COVID-19 vaccine on Saturday. Health Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Adham Baba, via an infographic shared on his official Twitter account, explained that out of the total, 402,650 individuals received the first dose of the vaccine, while 10,605 individuals had completed the full vaccination regimen. 3 states recorded the highest number of individuals who have received the first dose of the vaccine, namely Selangor with 52,971, Perak 48,136, and Sabah at 40,134. It was followed by Kuala Lumpur, Sarawak, Pahang, Johor, Penang, Kedah, Kelantan, Negeri Sembilan, Terengganu, Melaka, Perlis, Putrajaya, and Labuan.
The decision to hold Ramadan Bazaar for Sarawak this year will be made known on March 26th. Assistant Minister in the Chief Minister's Department for Islamic Affairs and DBKU, Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi, said that the decision will be announced after getting approval and detailed information from Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee.
Secara ringkas, belum lagi secara resmi, kerana saya akan membuat satu sidang media pada hari Jumaat depan untuk pengesahan lepas kita mendapat maklumat terperinci daripada pihak SDMC. Namun demikian, maklumat yang kita perolehi daripada Majlis Keselamatan Negara bahawa di peringkat persatuan membenarkan Bazar Ramadan diadakan. Jadi setakat ini pihak Dewan Bandaraya Kuching Utara menyediakan maklumat bahawa Bazar Ramadan akan diadakan juga.
He added, among the locations identified in the Kuching North City, DBKU area, are Kubaharia, Sukmaria, and Kampong Semara. Once approved, the standard operating procedures will be laid out to avoid unwanted situations.
Untuk rakan-rakan kita yang ingin mengadakan Bazar Ramadan sendiri, sekiranya dibenarkan, diminta membuat permohonan awal kepada pihak DBKU untuk kita membuat persiapan awal, terutama menyediakan SOP yang berpatutan.
A news that is being circulated on social media claiming that 52 and 43 positive cases that were detected in Sekolah Kebangsaan Abang Ali and SK St. Mary respectively in Sibu has been found to be fake news.
In this regard, Sibu Divisional Disaster Management Committee Coordinator Dr. Anwar Rapai advised people to be wary of unverified news circulating on social media with regard to the COVID-19 cases. Dr. Anwar, who is also the Assistant Minister of Local Government and Housing, explained that the schools were closed not because there were positive cases among the pupils, but due to the Jalan Awang and Hilir clusters. Therefore, the public is reminded to obtain information from proper channels.
Now, a 2-story terrace house and 2 vehicles were damaged in a fire incident that occurred at the People's Housing Program, or RPR, Kidurong Phase 3 early Sunday morning. Chief of Bintulu Fire and Rescue Station, Christus Buson, said 13 personnel were dispatched to the location after receiving the emergency call at 3:40 a.m.
The fire was brought under control at 6:09 a.m. and the cause of the fire and estimated losses were still being investigated. The fire had engulfed around 70% of the house structure, including 2 vehicles that were parked in the parking lot of the house. However, no casualties were reported.
Now, Iban's very own indie movie, Belaban Hidup or Zombie Infection, made history as it won the science fiction horror category at the World Film Carnival or WFC Singapore 2021.
Produced by Hornby Films, Sendirian Berhad and Hari Aziz Entertainment, the film tells the story of a group of orphans imprisoned for experiment by crazy scientists and was launched through WFC website on March 18. The film was funded by the National Film Development Corporation Malaysia, FINAS, and incorporated elements of horror and science fiction and features the Dayak community as the cast. According to producer Misha Minut, the idea of the film started in 2016 with director Ray Lee.
Sebelum yang kita buat ni, kita ada buat cerita pendek Belaban Hidup ni 2016. So dari situ tercetus idea kita nak buat ni jadikan satu filem cerita. So saya cadangkan dengan Reddy bagaimana kalau kita terbit bersama jadikan Belaban Hidup ni jadikan sebuah cerita filem lah.
Moreover, the film uses Iban language and English as well as interesting fight scenes.
Unsur-unsur dalam cerita Belaban Hidup ni memaparkan budaya orang Iban lah. So kelainan dia macam kita kalau sebelum ni kita tengok cerita zombie biasa kan, kali ini kita paparkan macam pahlawan Dayak bertarung dengan zombie. So ini satu kelainan lah.
According to the director, Ray Lee, the film was also nominated at the International Symbolic Art Film Festival in Russia in 2 categories, the Best Film and the Best Horror Film, which will take place on March 27th. They are waiting for more nominees, especially in film festivals, namely the United States, United Kingdom, India, New Zealand, Australia, Japan and Paris in the near future. Belaban Hidup, Zombie Infection features local actors, namely Pekin Ibrahim, Ultimate, Pablo Amirul, Ana Melissa, Cassidy Pangau, and Indonesian singer Tegar and Slovakian-born actor Ketri. The film will be distributed by Metro Wealth Pictures Sendirian Berhad and is expected to be shown in local cinemas by the end of this year.
Hello there, and thank you for staying with me. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said the Malaysian forestry policy launch today will witness all states coming together on the country's forest, which is now 120 years old. The Prime Minister said all states have agreed to adopt the policy, which outlines a clear direction for the forestry sector in facing new challenges at domestic and international levels.
Saya ingin tekankan bahawa dasar perhutanan Malaysia ini adalah dasar kita bersama. Kita semua harus bertindak dan memainkan peranan yang lebih aktif sebagai ejen konservasi dan penggerak pembangunan sosio-ekonomi negara. Dan saya berharap agar usaha bersama Kerajaan Persekutuan dan Kerajaan Negeri dalam melaksanakan ke-5 objektif dasar perhutanan Malaysia akan terus padu bagi mencapai sasaran yang telah dihasratkan.
He stressed that the government is very serious in managing forests responsibly and sustainably in implementing conservation programs. Therefore, in order to achieve the goal of becoming a developed country, development is inevitable.
Sebagai sebuah kerajaan yang bertanggungjawab dan prihatin, pelbagai usaha telah diambil bagi memenuhi komitmen yang diikrarkan semasa sidang kemuncak bumi pada tahun 1992 di Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, dengan mengarus perdanakan pengurusan biodiversiti dalam pembangunan negara.
The Prime Minister said the cost of maintaining and preserving the country's forest areas, which cover 55.3% or 18.27 million hectares of the country's land area, is enormous and about 6 billion ringgit is needed for the purpose.
Right, the change of cooperative name is now made easier for the public following proposed amendments to the Cooperative Societies Act 1993, which was approved last January.
Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar said cooperatives can inform the Cooperative Commission of Malaysia, SKM, compared by asking approval from the agency.
The Royal Malaysian Customs Department is targeting to collect 40.7 billion ringgit in taxes this year, or higher than the 38.6 billion ringgit in 2020. The department is confident in achieving the target, even though the country still has to contend with the sting of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Abdul Aziz said gross domestic product is projected to grow compared to last year's, which contracted by about 5.6%. This year, the GDP is expected to increase by between 6.5 to 7.5%, which will be of some help in the revenue collection from the Customs Department. Additionally, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the collection as it is related to the country's economy. Due to the pandemic, the revenue from the Inland Revenue Board and Customs Department were affected last year.
Now wrapping up the 5 p.m. news, a suspicious-looking tank ship were detained by the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency, or MMEA, in Miri waters.
A total of 3 Indonesian crews aged 31 until 43 were detained. According to the director of Miri Maritime Zone, Maritime Captain Muhammad Fauzi bin Othman, the operation was carried out by the agency's asset during a patrol through Ops Permai at 8:05 a.m. All crews, ship and diesel oil estimated around 15,000 liters with an approximate worth of 30,000 ringgit were seized and were later escorted to the agency Miri Zone Vessel Detention Center, PTV's jetties for further investigation.
And that wraps up the 5 p.m. English news on TVS. As usual, don't forget to tune in for the Nightline at 11:30 p.m. With that, I'm Handy Gui and have a pleasant day.